Bonjour à tous, merci du coup d'être présent pour ce webinaire un peu spécial où on reçoit aujourd'hui plusieurs structures, donc Invest Alberta, Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute, Calgary Economic Development, Edmonton Global, qui sont représentés donc du coup par les personnes que vous voyez à l'écran, Maxence, Russ, Thomas euh, et, euh, et Brent. Et donc, je vais laisser la parole assez rapidement à Maxence, donc du coup, qui va vous faire une présentation de possibilités voilà, d'investissement du côté de la région de l'Alberta. Et puis, plus globalement, on a d'autres parties prenantes locales. Euh, donc, moi, je suis Mehdi Triki, je suis le responsable des affaires publiques du Francia. Le Francia, pour rappel, est une association qui a été créée en 2017 par les startups qui faisaient l'écosystème, en tout cas ce qu'était l'écosystème de l'intelligence artificielle en France. Notre objectif et notre vocation, ça reste de contribuer, participer à la diffusion de l'intelligence artificielle dans tout le tissu économique bien entendu national, mais aussi à l'international. Et d'ailleurs, ce genre d'occasion et un super moment pour faire valoir voilà, toutes nos capacités de collaboration avec d'autres écosystèmes et aussi pour vous présenter d'autres choses. Et on est très content de vous avoir tous les cinq aujourd'hui. Euh, pour vous reposer un peu le contexte du webinaire, ce qui va se passer, c'est que, en tout cas le déroulé, excusez-moi, ce qui va se passer, c'est que c'est Maxence du coup qui a commencé à parler. C'est lui qui va animer en fait en réalité ce webinaire. Et vous pouvez poser des questions du coup dans le chat, dans la partie conversation. Ces questions seront répondues à la fin. Maxence, je te laisserai effectivement gérer ça. Et bah, sans plus attendre, je vais te laisser la parole, Maxence, et je vous souhaite à tous un super webinaire.
Super. Merci beaucoup, Mehdi. Je vous remercie à tous pour votre présence. Donc moi, je me présente, je m'appelle Maxence Malaquin. Je suis le représentant pour l'agence de développement économique de l'Alberta qui s'appelle Invest Alberta. Nous, en fait, aujourd'hui, ce qu'on a voulu faire, c'est parler un petit peu à l'écosystème intelligence artificielle qui est présent en France pour voir un petit peu les liens qu'on pouvait vous présenter pour pouvoir vous accompagner, vous accueillir en cas de projet international et plus particulièrement au Canada. Pour ça, je suis entouré de Thomas qui, lui, travaille au niveau de Calgary Economic Development, donc qui est l'agence de développement économique de Calgary, Russ pour l'AMI et Brent pour Edmonton Global. Donc cet écosystème-là, je vais vous le présenter très rapidement. L'idée, c'est aussi de faire un premier webinaire pour pouvoir vous, après, discuter et vous rencontrer aussi au moment de Vivatech, car on sera plus ou moins tous présents à Vivatech. Il y aura Thomas, il y aura pas Brent, mais il y aura sa collègue Angelica qui sera présente, probablement Ross aussi. Donc ce sera aussi c'est une première étape pour faire connaissance, pour vous présenter un petit peu les opportunités et voir ce qui est possible de faire justement au Canada et en Alberta. Donc concrètement, euh, l'Alberta et le Canada. Le Canada, pourquoi le Canada? Parce que comme vous pouvez probablement déjà le savoir, c'est une économie qui est en croissance. Par exemple, elle a été classée numéro 3 au niveau du G20 comme étant la plus prometteuse dans les 5 années à venir. Vous avez aussi beaucoup de talents qui sont présents, la population est relativement jeune, bien éduquée, un accès aussi au marché mondial. On le verra plus en détail après par rapport pour voir au niveau de l'Alberta, mais vous avez accès tant bien aux États-Unis, même si en ce moment c'est peut-être un peu compliqué, mais vous pouvez avoir des connexions avec que ce soit l'Asie ou ce soit avec d'autres provinces justement du Canada. La stabilité économique, c'est une économie qui est vraiment relativement basée euh, sur des secteurs forts en croissance permanente. Vous avez un côté aussi, et c'est aussi pourquoi a été créé Invest Alberta il y a 3 4 ans sous ce format-là, c'est le fait de diversifier son économie, parce que vous connaissez peut-être l'Alberta pour tout ce qui est oil and gas, mais en fait, c'est une économie où la transition énergétique est vraiment en forte croissance, avec un objectif de net zéro carbone d'ici 2030. Donc il y a énormément d'opportunités, je pense à vous, justement les startups, les scale-up de l'intelligence artificielle qui ont des applicatifs au niveau de l'industrie, là, il y a vraiment tout un pan de l'économie qui va vers justement la transition énergétique et le fait de voir un peu mieux travailler avec moins de moyens. L'Alberta, où ça se trouve, ben, vous allez pouvoir voir ici, avec deux grosses villes, donc Calgary et Edmonton. Euh, donc ça, c'est les deux grosses villes, elles représentent quand même à peu près entre 1 million, 1,5 million d'habitants chacune. C'est une population qui est très diversifiée. Après, je vais laisser Thomas et Brent plutôt parler de Calgary et Edmonton à travers leur présentation, mais vous pouvez savoir que l'Alberta, c'est ce qu'on appelle une province des prairies. Et après, ce qui est bien par rapport à ça, c'est que vous avez une connexion avec l'Europe directe. Par exemple, moi, la dernière fois, j'étais justement en novembre euh, et en septembre aussi. Vous avez un vol WestJet Paris-Calgary en 8h40 avec 8 heures de décalage. Donc par rapport à même à des provinces comme Montréal ou Toronto, c'est juste 1 heure à 2 heures de vol en plus, ce qui est totalement réalisable. Concrètement, les avantages de l'Alberta, très rapidement, ça va être au niveau des coûts. On est la province avec les coûts les moins chers, avec une taxe à 8% au niveau du provincial et 15% au niveau du fédéral, ce qui vous fait à peu près 23 à 23%. Au niveau de nos services, il y a vraiment une culture qui est très forte de l'entrepreneuriat en Alberta et aussi au niveau de tout ce qui est qui vise à réduire toute cette justement la bureaucratie. C'est vraiment business oriented en Alberta par rapport à d'autres provinces où vous pouvez voir, ou même d'autres pays ou d'autres États où justement la bureaucratie peut être un peu plus lourde. Au niveau des talents, vous avez vraiment énormément de jeunes, par exemple, Calgary, mais Thomas pourra en parler aussi, c'est vous avez par exemple le plus grand nombre d'ingénieurs par habitant en Amérique du Nord, par exemple. Donc, et c'est une population, c'est une province, pardon, qui attire les talents, qui les entraîne, mais qui est aussi capable de les retenir, car par exemple, vous avez un bon niveau de vie. C'est une des seules provinces qui reçoit de plus en plus de monde, avec une croissance à 2 à 3%. Et pourquoi les personnes restent? Parce que justement, ils sont capables de pouvoir justement acheter une maison, ce qui est plus trop voilà, ce qui est plus trop le cas pour des provinces comme la Colombie-Britannique, Toronto, Montréal, où vous avez vraiment des coûts qui sont très élevés. Ça, c'est vraiment un petit vernis, justement par rapport à ce qui se fait par rapport à votre secteur, en Alberta. Vous avez plutôt tout ce qui est, cybersécurité, mais ça, je vais laisser Russ avec l'Amy pouvoir, en parler un peu plus, parler en plus en détail. Vous avez aussi une fintech qui est vraiment assez présente. Ça, c'est dû justement à l'argent, qui était présent avant au niveau du, oil and gas. Mais aussi, ce qui est très intéressant pour vous, les startups, les scale-up d'intelligence artificielle, c'est au niveau des data centers. Parce que comme on a de la place pour les terrains, de la place pour l'énergie, un climat relativement froid, on voit beaucoup de projets au niveau data center arriver. Je vous ai mis aussi quelques exemples, notamment SiteTrade, qui est une entreprise française, qui est notamment présent à Calgary et qui va créer à peu près une centaine d'emplois, par exemple. Au niveau, au niveau des récents investissements, c'est une province qu'on ne connaît pas forcément très bien en France, mais qui est quand même euh, bien identifiée en Amérique du Nord, avec des gros investissements à plus de 4,3 milliards, notamment de AWS, Equinix à plus de 73 milliards, et aussi Fortinet que vous connaissez au niveau qui a fait justement son hub cybersécurité en Alberta en injectant plus de 30 millions. Et puis après, c'est un petit peu l'écosystème que vous avez, justement, donc l'EMI, qui est présent au niveau de l'industrie, toutes les innovations, pardon, de l'industrie. Et en fait, le marché de l'électricité étant dérégulé en Alberta, ça permet justement avoir un grand nombre d'investissements industriels et de justement de tout ce qui est, comme je disais, transition énergétique et carbone neutre. Donc là, je vous ai mis aussi une petite liste un petit peu de tout ce qui se fait, de toutes les entreprises qui sont déjà présentes en Alberta. Donc vous avez des entreprises qui sont autant européennes, donc plutôt sur le secteur de l'énergie, énergie renouvelable, intelligence artificielle, euh, aussi tout ce qui est agriculture. Donc ça, c'est toutes des entreprises qui sont présentes et qui peuvent justement être de futurs clients par rapport à vous, pouvoir après travailler avec eux. Donc nous, chez Invest Alberta, on peut vous accompagner euh, partout dans le monde, peu importe où votre startup ou votre scale-up est basé. Notre but, c'est d'attirer les entreprises internationales qui souhaitent s'implanter en Alberta pour justement créer de l'emploi. Donc, je vous remercie pour votre attention. Je vais laisser la parole à mon collègue Thomas pour justement Calgary. Si vous cherchez un contact, si vous avez besoin qu'on puisse échanger, bah, vous pouvez le retrouver ici. Je pourrais après le transmettre justement mes coordonnées à Mehdi. Mais si vous voulez d'ores et déjà pouvoir se rencontrer lors de Vivatech, qu'on puisse, parce qu'il y aura une grosse délégation d'entreprises de l'Alberta qui sera aussi présente lors de Vivatech. Donc, si à un moment donné, vous souhaitez déjà avoir un peu des retours terrain, mais de la part des entreprises, n'hésitez pas à me contacter et puis je serai ravi de vous recroiser lors de Vivatech. Je vous remercie pour votre attention. Thomas, let you the floor and the speech if you want to share your slide.
Thanks, Maxence, and I hope everyone can see my slides, but good morning from Calgary, everyone that's on the call today or watching the recording from home. As Maxence has mentioned, my name is Thomas Armbruster. I'm the Biz Development Manager for the Enterprise Technology Portfolio here at Calgary Economic Development. So I want to just give you a little bit of information on Calgary and follow up on the points Maxence has just touched on, and then pass it over to my colleagues at Edmonton Global and at Amy. So I thought I'd start off introducing you to the city itself. As Maxence mentioned, our province has experienced extreme population growth over the last few years. A lot of that is happening in our major cities in Calgary and Edmonton, and Calgary is actually the highest population growth city in Canada currently. These aren't just retirees or people looking to live close to the mountains. These are young, diverse, and highly educated individuals moving into our province and complementing a lot of the work that our universities have done at growing talent here in the city. So most relevant for you in the bottom left, Calgary's seen great growth in tech talent as well from all this migration into our city. 78% growth over the last 5 years. We're now employing about 60,000 individuals in the tech scene, many of which in AI, quantum, and other subsectors. But most relevant for all of you on the call, I wanted to focus on the market opportunities and the commercialization opportunities here in the city and highlight some of the key sectors that might be relevant to you. So in Calgary, we really focus on these 8 sectors being agribusiness, energy, enterprise technology, aerospace and defense, transportation and logistics, film and TV, life sciences, and digital media and entertainment. And this is important because of these stats here. Calgary is a head office city. We have around 104 head offices in the city itself, many of which in energy, critical minerals, agribusiness, chemicals. WestJet, one of our 2 primary airlines in Canada, is also headquartered here. On a per capita basis, we actually have the highest density of head offices in the country, outpacing markets like Toronto and Vancouver. And why we're seeing companies like yourselves and other international organizations look at Alberta and Calgary as a whole. Firstly, again, talking about the market opportunity, the head offices are here, the decision makers are here, the ones deciding purchasing, business processes, their legal teams, their HR teams, their accounting teams are all here in the city as well, all of which are ripe for digital adoption, specifically in AI. During the pandemic, our organization and a number of others tried to forecast the digital transformation spend across the province, and we forecasted around 20 billion being spent. That was before the emergence of AI, so that number is probably significantly higher. The other one I wanted to touch on this slide specifically is the ecosystem. So today you're joined by a number of great ecosystem players here in the province. There's over 3,000 tech companies here in the city. This is up 223% over the last 4 years, and it's continuing to grow. And I also just wanted to end off by highlighting the work that the City of Calgary has been doing, specifically with the Living Labs program, which gives companies creating AI technology access to city-owned assets. So in the past, for example, there have been some road closures that have allowed autonomous vehicles to be tested on city roads. Last year, we had a company from Japan using AI to advise the city of Calgary on the optimal snow plowing routes, which is a very Canadian problem. But those are just two examples of ways that AI and has been adopted by the city, and there's opportunity to continue to collaborate with the city of Calgary and all of the companies that Maxence has mentioned and within the sectors that I had just highlighted as well. So before I pass it over to my colleagues at Edmonton Global and Amy, I just wanted to say, feel free to connect with me. A number of us will be at VivaTech in Paris in a few weeks. So if there's anyone that would like to connect while we're there, please reach out to any of us on the call today. But I'll end it there for myself.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Thomas. It was like really interesting. So Brent, if you want to share your presentation, thank you so much.
Good morning from here. Bonjour et bienvenue. I am Brent Jensen. I'm the Senior Director of Business Development at Edmonton Global. Few stats. Edmonton Global, similar to Calgary Economic Development, we're a free for-service institution alongside Invest Alberta Corporation to help companies really grow and scale out of our province, but also to help your companies to grow and scale within province. So we create ties, connections, links to education, talent pipelines, anything you need to make you successful. Please lean into Invest Alberta Corporation, myself and Thomas, in order to do so. We'd be happy to assist you on your inbound visits, as well as connect with your final users. So what is Edmonton? Well, we're Alberta's capital city, similar to Calgary. I'm glad Thomas mentioned the population growth. If Alberta was a state, which it will not be in the future, if it was a state on its own, we'd be the fastest growing state or province in the entire world. 25% of Edmonton's existing population was grown in the last 5 years. So although we have the fast growth, we do have a small population overall. It is really small. So we do have to be efficient and look at new ways of adopting technology and AI into our existing processes. 110 billion in GDP growth. We outpace the rest of the country in terms of GDP growth, and that's largely because of our natural resource base. We like to say all roads lead to Rome, but all pipelines lead to Edmonton. We're the second largest petrochemical cluster in North America. Approximately $50 billion worth of pet chem projects right now anticipated to finalize within the next 5 years. They're underpinned by major projects like Dow, $9 billion worth of expansion in polyethylene products. That's fueled by Linde of $2 billion worth of investment into hydrogen production, all blue, all carbon neutral. Why those are important is because they provide opportunities for new technologies in AI for optimization as we look at small populations. And we're a very big region. We sprawl wide, 10,000 square kilometers, not just representing the city of Edmonton, but the entire region of smaller municipalities. Like Thomas said, Alberta's seen a great increase in the tech ecosystem, largely because of our quality of living is high, our cost of talent is low, that quality of talent is really high. A few things I want to point out on this. Jobber here, they're one of Canada's unicorns, growing quickly, first out of Edmonton, then into Calgary, Toronto, now looking in the United States. Of course, we're home to Amy. Inflection Games, this represents our gaming studios here that are not just doing hardcore game development, but the utilization of AI in those games for third-party characters as well as backgrounds. Silent Air, a couple of University of Alberta grads now have sold their company to Johnson Control, but continue to build out over 600,000 square feet of manufacturing facilities for data centers. The ecosystem is diverse and it's rich with talent, but looking to grow. We're very international. Part of that, that driver for international growth comes through the University of Alberta. It really is diverse. Over a third of the population is foreign. It's a key driver for innovation. Top 5 in the world for AI and ML. They really are a pioneer in reinforcement learning. They're number 1 in Canada for artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics. In a moment, I'll show you some other stats. 45,000 students. They're looking to expand that into over 60,000. This is a top 100 university worldwide and a great partner as they look for opportunities to take their companies out of research and development into commercialization. They're really looking at those foreign partners in order to do so. The University of Alberta is also home to two Nobel Prize winners. One of them, Sir Michael Houghton, in diabetes research. Recently, Amy has a Nobel Prize winner, a Turing Award that went to Rich Sutton, arguably the world's foremost expert in reinforcement learning, and he's doing exciting stuff at Amy, including a partnership with John Cormack of Keen Technologies out of San Francisco to explore artificial general intelligence. But it truly is a driver economy in the province. I think 10% of all Alberta's GDP is originated out of the University of Alberta. Really, since the 80s, we've had an excellence out of the University of Alberta in computer science. This is just a pic that shows the university rankings by computer science discipline, both in Canada rankings at the bottom there in red, from the University of Alberta, and then world rankings in blue. So you see artificial intelligence, 5th in the world, number 1 in Canada. Machine learning and data learning, number 1 in Canada. Robotics, number 1 in Canada. Language processing, number 1 in Canada. Really consistently quality talent, quality programming, quality partnerships. I'll skip over the timeline because I really want to get to Russ and the Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute, who just celebrated upper bound over 6,000 attendees, multinational individuals coming into Edmonton, a unification of business and big brains. Again, idealization into private industry for optimization. It's the home to the Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute, one of 3 centers of AI research in Canada and the only one in Western Canada. I'll end off with this quote by Adam White, a good friend, an entrepreneur, and a CFR fellow. The Edmonton region has been the largest place for reinforcement learning. I'm going to argue the absolute best place in the world to learn about reinforcement learning. We're going to solve AI, and it's going to happen in Edmonton. With that, I will pass the time over to my good friend Russ to talk about the Alberta Machine and Intelligence Institute and what they're doing in Alberta and the Edmonton region. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Brent.
much. Go for it, Russ. The floor is yours.
Just hit share there. Awesome. Thanks very much, Brent. I appreciate that. So as Brent pointed out, my name is Russ Erickson. I am the VP of Partnerships here at AMI, the Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute. So I'm going to dig into a few of the things that both Brent and Thomas touched on, and hopefully provide a bit more context and a little bit more information around the there we go. Around the depth of talent, the depth of the AI ecosystem in Alberta. So just one sec, I'll hit play in a second. As Brent pointed out, we've been investing in AI research in Alberta at the University of Alberta primarily since 2002. So like over 20 years. This is long before AI was cool. We've been doing it. Actually, one of the other interesting facts about the University of Alberta is that it was actually the first computer science faculty in Canada, but founded back in the 1960s. So we've been investing in tech in this province for a very long time, longer than anybody else in the country by quite a stretch. So and as Brent also pointed out, that has led to a couple of things. I'm going to kind of go through a little bit of that evolution so that people can really understand that depth of expertise and talent here. So I'm going to play this quick video here from it's just our CEO Cam Leakey talking a little bit about that history.
Hi, I'm Cam Leakey. I'm here to introduce you to AIM. For many decades, we've led the world in artificial intelligence research and commercialization, realizing the impact both on the academic sphere as well as realizing that impact with companies around the world. We're most well known for reinforcement learning. You may have seen recently our Chief Scientific Advisor, Dr. Richard Sutton, winning the Turing Award for his groundbreaking work in pioneering reinforcement learning.
The way forward in AI is not through generative AI, it's not through mimicking people, it's not through large language models. It's going to be through reinforcement learning, through learning from experience.
Reinforcement learning is a great pairing for many industrial settings. things like optimizing ads to optimizing industrial processes to be able to improve the efficiency of water treatment and nearly everything in between. By partnering with Amy, we can help you and your team both understand where machine learning can be most effective in driving forward value for your business, as well as taking that even further by building the capacity of your team, finding the talent and expertise that you need to be able to drive forward machine learning in your company. We'd love to dive in and talk to you more about how reinforcement learning can help your business, and more broadly, the many areas of machine learning that we work on day in and day out could be helpful to drive for real business value in what you're doing.
So there we go. So yeah, just to take another quick step back, and Brent already alluded to this as well. So we've been investing for a very long time in AI research, and in around 2017, our federal government set up the Pan-Canadian AI strategy and the three sister institutes, AMI, Vector Institute, and the Mila Institute in Montreal. If you kind of look around Canada in general, 3 of the top 4 minds in AI in the world are doing their work and conducting the research in Canada, and have been doing so for a very long time. And they came here because they wanted to live here, but at the same time, what has been able to happen is talent attracts talent, right? So when you have 3 of those top 4 minds, so those would be Rich Sutton here in Edmonton and Alberta, Joshua Bengio in Montreal, Jeffrey Hinton in Toronto, and then if you're wondering who I would consider the 4th mind, or most people would consider the fourth, Tian LeCun in the U.S. French origin, but it works at Meta at this point. So so we've been building up this talent base around these individuals for a long period of time, and Rich, as you heard from him, he literally he received the Turing Award for that founding work in a new field at the time of AI called reinforcement learning, teaching machines to actually learn from experience, the way that people learn from experience, and it's led to a lot of growth. So just in terms of looking at Amy and why you should care, by the way, is this second stat. So we've got these 52 right now, and this is a growing group of researchers, Canada CFAR AI chairs and Amy fellows. Most of those are at the University of Alberta, but we actually go even beyond that and draw talent and support research also in British Columbia and a few other places. So we're really able to coalesce a lot of that talent together. But the 700 plus active researchers means we're creating talent at a very high rate. AI, the best AI talent in the world, at a very high rate right here in Alberta. When I look back at the slides that Brent showed and that Thomas showed, many of those companies, Jobber, Drug Bank, Samdesk, many of those companies were founded by students that are alumni of Amy, of Amy, meaning they've completed their graduate studies under one of our fellows that we support, and we do a lot of work with those with that entire graduate student base, to support their professional development throughout the course of their studies, so that they are ready to start companies, so that they're ready to join companies and start and really drive drive forward AI work within industrial settings. And I'll talk about a few of the ways that we do that. We do a lot of literacy training here at the Institute as well. We do believe that everybody needs to be somewhat bilingual in AI and whatever their expert domain is. So from that perspective, and we do a great deal of work to support that. talking about some of those alumni that have come out of the institute programs in the last couple of years. They've raised about $1.5 billion in venture capital funding, and that's driven by in particular by a few of those companies, but it's a broad tech ecosystem here. We work with companies across the spectrum. Here at Amy as well to again get that research that we're creating. All this, like we're one of the world's leading AI research institutes, as has been pointed out. We've got to get that research out of the lab and into the real world, and we do that in a variety of ways. We are one of the really unique things about the research side and the talent creation side of this. Of this spectrum is this approach that we've taken to AI and X, AI in multiple diverse domains, where it's being both researched and applied in real time, and we think about that very very heavily in the area of energy, ag, and then health and medicine, because we've got these. Because we've got such great domain knowledge and great domain expertise within Alberta in those areas, but we also go into things like material discovery and AI and material discovery, AI and drug discovery, AI and quantum science. We have here in Alberta, aside from Amy as the AI Institute, there is a really strong, one of the world's leading people in the quantum research area is right here at the University of Calgary as well. So we just have these great opportunities for intersections and collisions in the province to take advantage of both the talent and the market. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the folks here. So one of the reasons that we've been able to continue to grow this talent ecosystem and continue to attract the best and the brightest researchers in the world to both teach and create the new talent, but also have I believe the University of Alberta in particular, for a few hundred graduate student spots that we have every year, there's about 14,000 applicants. And the reason that people want to come here for that is these people right here on this page. These are led by Rich Sutton is kind of definitely the highlight of that. The fact that he came here in the mid-2000s, along with people like Dale Shermans and Michael Bowling, Randy Goebel is in this list, to really found the institute at the time. Michael Bowling, for example, is the person behind the team that led AlphaGo at DeepMind that solved for AlphaGo. Built the agent that was the reinforcement learning agent that was able to beat the world champion Go player. He's also the person that solved for Texas Hold'em. He's one of the leading minds in this area. Other people that have come to the institute in the meantime over the last 10 or 15 years, Matt Taylor. Matt is both a professor, but prior to he was a professor, then he went into industry. Founded one of the AI research labs within RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, the largest bank in Canada, and basically built their fraud detection engine for using reinforcement learning approaches, and then decided to go back into academia. And he continues to actually support our commercialization projects with partners that we work with. All the way through to people like Martha White and Adam White, also on this channel or on this page. Not only running their labs, teaching students, but also founding a company called RLCore, using reinforcement learning to build autonomous water treatment agents. And I'll talk a little bit about that. There was an allusion to the Google.org investment, which is a big part of that piece. We have a number of people within the institute. So Amy itself is, which not only do we support the academic endeavors at the University of Alberta and other institutes through funded research chairs. We also employ a significant number of senior machine learning scientists that are all about helping organizations actually apply that research in real time and make it and get it, as I said, out of the lab and into the real world, to where it can have a difference. So, and that's really what we're all about, is exactly that, both driving the fundamental state of the art of AI, and we continue to do that, and with, you know, as is evidenced by, you know, people like Rich Sutton winning the Turing Award, and getting that knowledge, that talent, that technology into industry for industry adoption, to create to really drive forward the state of the art. If you think about that AI tech ecosystem and building AI companies, there's really two things you need to build product in AI. You need compute and you need talent. Amy really very much takes care of the talent. We have, as I said, one of the deepest talent pools in the world. We are, you know, if you look at some of the Deloitte stats recently, we're, you know, right here in Alberta, we have one of the highest concentrations of AI talent in North America, on a per capita basis, and those people really are looking for opportunities to work. And then the other side of that, compute, the investment that many large platform companies have been making to build compute in this province, is and enabled by the natural resources that we have, the connection that we have, and the regulatory frameworks that we have to make it easy to do so, really drive forward the ability to grow and scale AI businesses in this province. I'm going to talk a little bit about, briefly anyways, about this in terms of, you know, from our perspective at Amy, we're very much, as I said, how do we help people? How do we help grow the ecosystem? How do we help organizations that might want to leverage that talent? How do we help organizations that want to put that research into practice, and drive economic value, build businesses around that? We do that through training and literacy. We do that through supporting strategy development, and we do that through actually supporting companies in doing development projects with machine learning and AI. And this we do that across the board, whether that be from startups. We have programs very focused on driving AI through and in startups, all the way through medium business, all the way through large business. So large enterprises, in terms of, again, accessing that talent, driving forward, continuing to drive forward the application of that research within industrial settings on that front. I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of interesting projects here, just kind of things that are going on here already. So just to give people an idea around some of the diversity of that. I talked about the autonomous drinking water treatment project, and that was funded by a $1.1 million investment from Google.org recently, but it actually comes out of even deeper research that was funded by the Alberta government prior to that, through Alberta Innovates, to really prove out the theory that we could use reinforcement learning to reduce costs and in water treatment, to make water treatment more accessible, and build autonomous agents going forward from that perspective. And that's where, so this is a really interesting project. We were really able to prove that, yes, we could save a lot of money using our reinforcement learning for that process optimization of water treatment. And reinforcement learning is a really good application, or really good technology to be able to use in many of these industrial process applications where there's a lot of parameters, there's a lot of things going on. Humans really just can't make the decisions fast enough to do it as efficiently as you might want. And then the other piece of that is, there's just not enough people that are trained to operate some of these things to enable water treatment at everywhere where we need it in the world. So this is a super interesting project there. This next project, this Adabotics, is actually a Calgary-based startup company that we worked with to drive some reinforcement learning approaches into 3D warehouse operations. So they provide 3D robotic warehouse systems as a company. And there's lots of algorithms that have been out there to optimize those things using a lot of traditional approaches for to optimize the placement of the racks in the warehouse, the bins in the warehouse, the routes that you're sending your people or now robots on to actually retrieve goods, bring them to the dock, put them in a truck, for example. From that perspective, using some really novel and unique reinforcement learning approaches in this particular case, we were able to really so accelerate the rate of throughput in those warehouse systems by like over 200%. And if you can imagine, that over the kind of standard algorithms that people have always used to do these kinds of things. So this is a very interesting project there. And then kind of getting out of the reinforcement learning area and into more into an ag application, which is actually computer vision and again optimization of the use of agricultural inputs. We work with this is a startup company out of Saskatoon in this case, actually, Croptomistic that is building that uses cameras to detect where weeds are as you spray a field. So that you really minimize the application of chemicals in those cases, for example, to be able to increase yields in crops. So mapping out soil quality using those cameras, for example. There's some super interesting applications there as well. As we kind of continue to look through, there's just lots of really good use cases, and I'd encourage you to take a look at our website for some of those. If you're interested in kind of exploring and understanding where AI is going, we have a great podcast where we recognize where we interview both our researchers, we interview researchers from other places around the world to talk about where's the research going, where is it being applied, how is it being applied, and what's going on. One of these interesting ones is this bottom left here, second to the left. So Patrick Pilarski is one of our Amy fellows here as well. He runs what's called the Blink Lab at the University of Alberta. He's been doing research in the use of prosthetic limbs and creating autonomous. Not autonomous, creating limbs that are actually controllable by muscle by your muscle signals and your nerve signals. This is another area that we have kind of lead the world in our expertise here as well. The next one over is Dr. Ross Mitchell. Actually, at our conference Upper Bound last week that I'm going to talk about in a second, he announced so he's released an open source project, which is all about transcribing, like enabling doctors to transcribe and chart their notes out of patient visits, all automatically. And that's an open source project coming out of his lab that really kind of any organization can actually, with a couple of clicks, integrate into a system. From that perspective, the implications there are dramatic in terms of the thousands of hours that every doctor uses to do charting. That he's built an agent to be able to automate much of that just from the verbal notes that the doctor takes through the course of a visit with a patient. So many really great applications, again, energy and health and life sciences are there on that front. I'm really sad that we missed Upper Bound, the opportunity to talk about Upper Bound before Upper Bound, but there is another one coming up next May 19th to the 22nd. So just to give people an idea, so we had over 6,000 people. We actually did have to cut off ticket sales on Friday. This event took place last week in Edmonton. 6,000 attendees, 200 plus sessions, over like 15 themes that encompass everything from what's going on in the research through to all kinds of use cases and showcases of what's going on in AI in Alberta. There is no better place. There's no better place in the country to connect to the Canadian AI ecosystem than Upper Bound in Edmonton every year. People from across the country and around the world, startups, investors, educators, researchers, and business leaders, both from small and medium business, all that are all looking for opportunities to connect to both talent and service providers, and companies that are providing services that they can use, all the way through to large enterprises from around the world. It's just like I said, no better opportunity to connect to connect to the people driving the Canadian AI ecosystem. This really draws from across the country on that front. And I really hope to see everybody there next May 19th to the 22nd, 2026. As I said, we sold out this year, and I imagine we'll sell out next year as well. We've already actually pre-sold quite a few seats, quite a few tickets to that, even over the last weekend here. So I'll leave you with my email address there. I'd encourage anybody that would like to connect and learn more about what's going on here, to reach out, and I'll turn it back over to Maxence. Thanks, merci. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much, Ross. Do we have some question on the Q&A, or maybe we can also directly do it like that? I don't think so, but I do have one for you, Russ. For example, if you will be like a French or European company, what you should think about, like Alberta, Amy, and what would be like your main advice if we want to set up in Alberta, or what will be like the main argument for a French or European company to set up here?
So Thomas and Brent may be able to answer that question even better than I can. But what I would say is that it kind of goes back to, especially if you're looking to set up, what do you need? Like, what do you need to set up and take advantage of the market? You need talent to be able to build things. And if in the AI world, you need compute to be able to support that. That talent is abundant in this province, and Amy is here to help connect to that talent. And that compute is increasingly being built here at a rate higher than what many other places in the world. And I turn it over to my colleagues to elaborate. So.
I don't think I have anything to add to that. It's I think overall it's high quality of living for relatively low cost. So you do have a talent retention here in the province. And energy. It's not only in the way you interact with people right now in the growth of the province, but the raw resources that kind of fuel economy, fuel research and innovation, fuel opportunity.
No further additions for myself as well. Main points for us is talent, and then I would just add the entrepreneurial culture and spirit that's here in the province to get problems done, to work with partners around the world and across the country. So it's a great place to work in this field.
Actually, I might add one more thing to this. In a I don't want to bring up geopolitics, but it's a fact. Canadians have a renewed desire to work both east and west rather than go south. The United States is our largest trading partner. However, we're extremely more left-leaning than our southern counterparts. The ability to understand how Europeans work and the desire now to work greater across Europe is there amongst Canadian firms. So I think a renewed desire, you'll find that it's much easier to land into Canada now than it ever has been.
Yeah, and I actually live here in Calgary as well. I've been here for 30 years, and one of the reasons that I came here because of the opportunity. I worked in the tech sector here for those times, and all the companies that I've worked at have been very outward looking. Yes, the United States is an important market, not always our biggest market at the companies that I've worked at. Europe has often been our biggest market. From a technology sales perspective, you really need to be a global entity. We're well set up and connected to be able to drive that here in Alberta. And I'll address a little bit about that talent retention piece as well. When I think about all of that talent that's being created at the University of Alberta, University of Calgary as well, especially engineering, in terms of engineering folks, those STEM graduates, as Thomas was talking about. Our particular graduate group is increasingly staying in Canada. At one point, it's always been a thing for like a brain drain from Canada to the United States. Increasingly over the past several years, we have flipped that ratio on its head of people staying in Alberta. They stay here because there's opportunity. That's the main thing that drives it. There's opportunity for that, and we want more opportunity in this province to come in, and they stay here because of that quality of life and the cost of living and the ability to both right here, and I'll kind of say speak to my own situation. I live in Calgary. I am a 20-minute drive from downtown, and I'm a 5-minute drive to being outside of Calgary, and 1 hour to the mountains. Just and people in Edmonton have that same opportunity to be. You don't sit your whole life in traffic, just trying to get somewhere, and it really is liberating. So.
Agree. Thank you so much, Russ. Brent?
Yeah, I might just add to what Russ was talking about, quality of life. It's so important. We see this talent retention here. I've been happily stuck in Alberta for the last 20 years. But you can have a family, you can own a house, you can have 20-minute commutes, you can be in the mountains, and the stereotype of Canada is just cold. Yesterday we were 30 degrees Celsius. Today will be 25. The day after will be 28. So yes, winters can be cold, but summers, springs, autumns are absolutely beautiful. So it does debunk the myth that we're just cold tundra, ice everywhere. So it's accessible. You saw the flights out of Alberta to the rest of the world. It's true. I spend a third of my time abroad, and it's easy to get in and out. Last week, for example, I was in Taiwan, back in Alberta this week. More global than you think.
Yeah, and that picture behind Maxence, that's a 1.5 hour drive from my house. So
yeah, thank you so much. So I think we do not have other questions. So thank you everyone for attending. Maybe if you can also share the list of participants here, and also people subscribe like that, maybe we can connect with them during Vivatech. Donc pour toutes les entreprises qui sont présentes aujourd'hui et aussi celles qui étaient inscrites, nous on sera ravis d'échanger avec vous lors de Vivatech, et puis après aussi sur Upperbound, qui est quand même un événement assez conséquent. Vous pouvez directement soit nous envoyer directement vos coordonnées. On serait ravis après d'échanger avec vous, que ce soit et pour Vivatech et Upperbound, et aussi pour toute visite, que ce soit en Alberta, on pourra vous réorienter en fonction de vos besoins.
Oui, bien entendu, Maxence, hein, effectivement, je communiquerai ça.
Parfait. Merci beaucoup.
Merci à
Thank
tout
you
le monde
everyone.
pour
Thank you
votre présence.
Thomas, Brent, Russ, and
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
see you next time.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Merci.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.